separated for this part of the debate. To kick it off, we start with the upcoming sophomore class. This year's candidates for president are Morgan Miller and Alex Brown. Running for vice president for this class, we have Elisa Baez and Connor Cook. For the purpose of this debate, each candidate has chosen a running mate that share focuses and ideals. Regardless of running mates, on election day, students will vote for individual candidates rather than team candidates, but can vote for president and their running mate if desired. The debate rules are as follows. I will be the moderator for this debate, meaning I will ask the questions and pass the floor over to each candidate. Each candidate team will have 30 seconds to respond to the question. Both president and running mate will be given the same time slot to speak, so candidates may split the time or take turns, however candidates feel comfortable. Once the first team is answered, the second team will have 45 seconds to answer and respond to their opponents. The first team will then have a brief 15-second opportunity to respond to their opponent's response. Do you all understand the rules?
Yes.
Great, then let's get started. The question is, which problem do you hope to combat specifically, and how do you plan to do that? This is a brief introduction to your campaign. Be specific but brief. You have 30 seconds. And we'll start with, I believe it's Connor's turn. Connor, you may begin.
We hope to combat unmotivated students because we don't want to see our classmates not care about the school, which would then not lead them to not care about their work or their job when they get one. We want them to feel happy and to feel motivated to do anything that they want.
Alex, you can now begin.
As he said, we want to fight unmotivated students, and the best way to fix the problem with unmotivated students would be to fix the other problems. That way they feel more safe, and that way they can be more motivated and have a better atmosphere to the actual motivation. And so that way if they get, that way if there aren't problems, they want to be here, they don't want to always leave, and then they can just go with, then they can be more motivated and just do their schoolwork and become interested in learning.
Okay. Morgan, we move on to you. You have 30 seconds. You may begin.
I realize there's many problems here, but I think the one we should start with first is Oveus, because it's realizing we do have a problem, but Oveus isn't serving its purpose because it's not getting the best words out, getting people's attention to realize their things are difficult in school atmospheres.
Thank you, Morgan. Elisa, now it's your turn. You may begin.
I think one of the biggest problems that we have is with the teachers, because many things there's a really big lack of communication between students and the teachers and how they feel towards the students, and because most students don't feel like they can communicate with their teacher because the teacher goes too fast. I feel like we should have a longer period to learn for each subject, even though some students might be ahead of other students because some students have a certain mindset than others, and it kind of drags out the mentality of it. Yeah.
Thank you. Now that we have heard all the campaigns, we have the final question of the debate. For this question, each candidate will have 30 seconds to respond, and there will be no rebuttals. As president or vice president of your class, you will be heading events, leading the student body in school spirit events, and most importantly, being an advocate for your class. What qualifies you for this great responsibility? Elisa, we'll start with you again. So you have 30 seconds. You can begin.
I would like to start with that for school spirit. I'm a very hyper person, and I feel like I can relate to it because I can when I'm really competitive during games, so I feel like I can help with that, and I can
And everybody else.
I can help with the unmotivated students, where it ties back to, because a lot of students feel like we're not engaging in it as fun as they're trying to engage in it. Sometimes people run out and they don't get enough time.
Thank you, Elisa. Morgan, you may begin.
I believe I'm good for president because I feel like I know people, I understand everything, motivation, I see where it is, and getting people just to participate in everyday school activities. Knowing their place is so much easier than just being on the outside, being oh, there's something wrong.
Alex, you may begin.
Okay, so I believe that I am qualified for this position because the our class isn't very participant in pep rallies or anything, and I am a very good like hype person. I like to get people I like to involve people in things, and I can get people to go to things. I have many connections, but I also know how to solve problems in a strategic way. So.
Thank you. Connor, you may begin.
I feel like that I am good for this job because, as we have said before, student unmotivation is one of our biggest problems. And every pep rally, you can see me either on the floor or volunteering to get down there and have some fun. So I can definitely lead by example to show them that, hey, this is fun. You need to get out there and have a little bit of fun.
Thank you. Great answers, everyone. It was a pleasure to have you all here with us today. To kick it off, we start with the upcoming junior class. This year's candidates for president are Lynn Bittorf and Georgia Walton. This year's vice presidents are Rachel Rodriguez and Nick Martin. For this question, each candidate will have 30 seconds to respond, and there will be no rebuttals. Nick, you'll start us off, then Georgia, followed by Lynn and Rachel. Which problem do you hope to combat specifically, and how do you plan to do that? This is a brief introduction to your campaign. Be specific but brief. You have 30 seconds. We will start with Nick. You may now begin.
One of the biggest problems on the list was like lunch and bathrooms and stuff, and we can't really fix how we have lunches, but we can fix how students leave their garbage everywhere, and it really just makes a problem because like for other lunches, you don't want to be sitting in somebody's garbage. And for bathrooms, it's more the students' problems that they're closed because they trash it and destroy it. So I think we can really fix that. And the hallway chaos we can't really fix, but we can try.
Your time is up. Thank you. Georgia, we move on to you. You may now begin.
In my campaign, I'd like to address the matter of unmotivated students because I feel like in order for us to have a better school, we have to have students who want to do better. And how I'd like to address that is I want to show them that I care and show the effort that I put forth to make in this school and in my life, and show that each student is worth it and you are worth it. So school is worth it. In order for you to have a future, you have to work for it. And I am willing to help you make that future.
Thank you. Lynn, we move on to you. You have 30 seconds. You may now begin.
I'd like to address the overall atmosphere of Hedgesville because I feel like this year I didn't do a good enough job of informing everyone of what was going on. And I apologize for that. And if you re-elect me, I will fix that next year. And I feel like with a better atmosphere in Hedgesville, that's going to fix a lot of the problems on the list, like unmotivated students. Because if you come to school feeling welcomed and feeling happy to be here, then you're going to want to succeed.
Thank you. We're now moving on to Rachel. You have 30 seconds and you now may begin.
My main goal is just to fix the overall atmosphere at Hedgesville. I think here at Hedgesville we have a pretty good atmosphere, but it could be better just like everything else. And I feel like if we really focus on that, it'll also correlate with helping unmotivated students. If we can show you that high school can be fun if you make it fun, and that you might have to work a little bit for it, but the end result is so worth it. And I would just like to be an example of that and show you that it is worth it, and that at the end of everything, it's going to be good.
Thank you. Now that we have heard all the campaigns, we have the final question of the debate. For this question, each candidate will again have 30 seconds to respond, and there will be no rebuttals. As president or vice president of your class, you will be heading events, leading the student body and school spirit events, and most importantly, be an advocate for your class. What qualifies you for this great opportunity and responsibility? Rachel, we begin with you. You have 30 seconds. You now may begin.
What I feel like what qualifies me is I try to carry myself with respect and responsibility at all times. I just try to be the best example for you guys, and I try to be very open-minded and kind to everybody, and I try to involve everybody. That's something that I really stand for, is just making sure that everyone feels included. Sometimes I don't always do the best job at that, but I really try. So that's what makes me feel like I'm qualified to lead your class, our class.
Your time is up. Thank you. Len, we now go to you. You have 30 seconds, and you now may begin.
I have experience with this because I was your class president this year, and I think that one thing that would make me a good candidate for re-election is that I'm really open to criticism, and I understand that everybody has problems, even myself, and when those are brought to my attention, or when problems at the school are brought to my attention, I work to fix those. And I think that if we joined together better as a class, that we'd get a lot more accomplished.
Thank you, Lynn. We move on to Georgia now. You have 30 seconds to respond. You may now begin.
So as what I'd like to say, what makes me qualified is that I've worked really hard all of my school career, and I've always wanted to help people. I want to be a lawyer so that I can help to defend people and give them justice. And as your president, I will give you just that. And I really want to be the one who you can count on and you can go to talk to. I have problems, you have problems. We both have that in common. So I'd really like to help you.
Thank you, Georgia. Nick, it is now your turn. You have 30 seconds and you can now begin.
I was a camp counselor for a year. I'm a really good people person, and I'm really good at planning events, and I'm really well at talking with people, and I have a lot of people who come to me for things because I'm really easy to talk to. And if you would vote for me, I would make events really fun, and like they said, if you have a problem, you can always come to me, because yes, we all have problems, but we don't have to always face them alone like a lot of people do. And a lot of people don't have a lot of people to talk to. So with us, you can always just come to us for your problem.
Thank you, Nick. Great answers, everyone. It was a pleasure to have you all here today. Welcome to the final debates for today. With me is the upcoming senior class. Over to my far right is Brady Michael running for Vice President, YJ Arciaga running for President, Emily Laymaster running for Vice President, Mallory Mazzara running for President, and Helena Blackman running for Vice President. This will be the last debate for today. We kick it off with YJ and Brady. Rules remain the same. Brady and YJ, the first question is, what problem did you feel was the most surprising as well as the problem you most expected? We're going to start off with the group question, which means together you guys have 30 seconds to answer, and you all may begin.
I felt like the drug problem was one of the biggest surprising answers I heard, because I don't really see it happen as often. I expect that it happens, but not to such a big extent that people would put it in the top 10.
The least surprising is lunches, because we know how nasty lunches can get in Hedgesville. So that is the least surprising problem for all students.
All right, and time is up. We move on to Emily Laymaster. The question remains the same. What problem did you find the most surprising, as well as what problem did you most expect? You have 30 seconds. You may begin.
I agree with Brady, as the drugs were the most surprising because I also just don't see that often. I think that the bathroom situation was the least surprising because everyone complains about the bathrooms. So that's my answer.
Thank you. We go to Mallory and Helena. You have 30 seconds to answer, and you may begin.
Okay. I feel that the bathroom situation, I agree with Emily, it's definitely the least surprising. There's been a lot of issues. They've been closing down, and everyone's complaining about that. So that's probably the least surprising issue.
Honestly, for the most surprising, I wouldn't say there is a top one. We kind of know our fellow classmates, and we see the problems that they do as well. So
And
honestly, there's not one that really
all of these
tops
have
it.
come up before, and we've heard about them, so that's what I would say.
All right, time is up. We move on to the next question now. Your current problems in the junior class is teacher-student relationships, lack of sleep, and unmotivated students. Do you believe that these problems will continue into senior year? And if so, how do you plan to combat them as president or vice president? We go to Mallory and Helena to start us off. You have 30 seconds to answer, and you may now begin.
For unmotivated students, we have a lot of things we're actually working on right now. We're trying to get more in touch with the students and working on, building up the motivation with the class.
Obviously, we're going to be seniors next year, and that's really exciting, but we all know senioritis is real, And with pep rallies, like you always see the senior class is a little smaller, but I have faith that our junior class will remain all peppy and we will continue to have a spirit stick and it'll be great.
And 30 seconds are up. Emily, we move on to you. You have 30 seconds. You may begin.
I think the teacher-student relationship would really improve if we could have teachers work with extracurricular schedules. And I think that would cut down on the lack of sleep as well. If a teacher knows that there's a track meet and a softball game and a baseball game all in one night, maybe they could lower the homework. Also with unmotivated students, I think our junior class is one of the most motivated classes in the school right now, and hopefully we will continue that through our senior year.
Time is up. Thank you. YJ, Brady, you are up. You have 30 seconds and you may now begin.
With students-teachers relationship, students are often become pummeled by certain groups. There's favoritism. We can work with that by creating cooperation programs, cooperative relationships, excessive amounts. Let teachers and students act with one another like adults, so that we can mature the relationship, we can have less conflicts with one another. With that being said, Mr. Michael, the unmotivated students.
Well,
I'm sorry, time is up. We are now moving on to the next question. Current seniors of this year said that their main problems were the attendance dropping from students skipping. College pressure was a huge one, students saying they didn't know what to do, application deadlines were told to them late, or they just felt overwhelmed by all the college process they were going through. As well as senioritis was high on the list of problems seniors were struggling with. Now you all are going into the last year, me too, I'm going with you. We're going into the last year, our senior year, and now it's really important that all these problems don't interfere with us going into wherever we're going next, which means you guys will be the first line of defense in combating these problems. So Emily, you'll kick us off, and then we'll move on to YJ and Brady and back to Mallory and Helena. Emily, tell me, what will you do to avoid this problem, and do you see this problem as a possibility for our junior class? You have 30 seconds to respond and you may now begin.
I think senioritis is definitely a really big issue, and I think to combat that, the overall atmosphere of Hedgesville would need to improve, and I think there's definitely some things we can do that. For college pressure, I think maybe if we got the student body more involved with that, maybe even use this Hedgesville High Twitter to send out deadlines, scholarship information, and get some help from guidance.
Thank you. Time is up. YJ, Brady, we move on to you. You have 30 seconds. You may begin.
for college pressure, I do agree with Hannah that we need to encourage our seniors next year to make more scheduled meetings with parents and guidance counselors in order to stay updated with the biggest news in regarding scholarships and best opportunities for colleges and such.
Thank you. We move on to Helena and Mallory. You have 30 seconds to respond.
In relation to college pressure and different deadlines and things that a lot of students don't know about, I think there's a lot we can do to help inform the students, either playing stuff on ENN. And I know one issue is that some teachers don't play ENN. I want to really get on that and get everyone watching it, at least all the teachers to play it. So
with attendance and kids skipping class, there has to be a root problem, and I believe that is the atmosphere of Hedgesville. And with the projects we're already working on, I want to make the atmosphere more loving and welcoming and keep those kids in class.
Thank you. We move on to the last round of questions. The way this will work is each candidate singly will have 30 seconds to respond. We'll start with Mallory and Helena and move our way that way toward Brady. So the question is, unmotivated students was ranked the 6th most pressuring issue in Hedgesville High and was also singled out as a class problem for each class. Why do you think students feel so unmotivated in school across the boards? I know you said, Emily, you said that junior class is the most motivated class in the school by your opinion, but it still fell on top 3 problems in the junior class. So I'd like you each to respond to that. You have 30 seconds. Helena, we'll start with you. You may begin.
Okay, so unmotivated students, I think one of the big things that goes along with that is getting students like involved in like decisions and different things that they could be involved with in the school. I think a lot of times the student government kind of runs things and they don't really ask for a lot of opinion from like the actual student body. I want to get like a lot more cooperation between the two and get students like involved in a lot more so that they get a little bit more motivated, want to do more things.
Thank you. Mallory, we move on to you. You have 30 seconds. You may begin.
And with what Helena said, the both of us are in leadership next year, which is a class offered here at Hedgesville, and we'll be able to take our classes input and even other classes to make the school how we want to make it and push the atmosphere to be how we think it should be. And with the projects we're already doing, our atmosphere is hopefully going to be a little more loving in the future. So,
Time is up. Thank you. Emily, we move on to you. You have 30 seconds and you may begin.
I think one of the main core issues with unmotivated students is that they feel that the atmosphere at Hedgesville is not welcoming to them, and I would look forward to changing that so everyone here feels welcome and as a part of a family here at Hedgesville. I also think unmotivation may come from an overload of stressing, especially going into your senior year and dealing with the college pressure and senioritis. So we definitely want to combat that in ways possible by us and get more input from following classmates.
Thank you. YJ, it's your turn. You have 30 seconds. You can begin.
Unmotivated students is based upon our individual lives. It goes beyond the school. School is one of the biggest factors within those lives. That's why we have to create a welcoming, loving environment for students to cooperate with teachers as well as other students. But beyond that, we can work outside of school, have students cooperate and have establishments to just be themselves, to be welcome to be themselves, to not live the stereotypes within the school. Unmotivated students is beyond that.
Thank you. Brady, it's your turn. You have 30 seconds. You can begin.
I think a big problem with unmotivated students is that they don't feel that they're being listened to, that they're not involved, and that all this pressure is on them. And so what I think we should do is definitely make more programs to involve people in the student government, to sort of give people a say and more involvement, and encourage people to join clubs and just participate.
Thank you. Moving on to the next question now. Which problem do you hope to combat specifically, and how do you plan to do that? This is a brief introduction to your campaign. Be specific but brief. You have 30 seconds. You've each spoken about unmotivated students, what problems struck you the most surprising, and which ones didn't surprise you at all. So now is your chance to tell the junior class what exactly is your plan to fix these problems. We're going to start with Brady and YJ, and you have 30 seconds each. Brady, you can begin.
One problem I intend to combat specifically is the bathroom situation. The way I understand it is that all of these shutdowns have been because people have been making a mess and such like that. And so what I intend to do is encourage people with posters and such to just keep it clean and just to do what you need to do in there and then just get out.
The bullying program of ours, we are going to tackle with an anti-bullying scheme.
YJ, you can now begin your 30 seconds.
So bullying is a big issue. It goes everywhere. Cyberbullying, social bullying, everywhere. It's everywhere. So how are we going to tackle that? We tackle it with an aggressive approach, an approach that is subtle in a way to target these bullies, to create a relationship between the victims and the bullies. We're not necessarily going to destroy the bullies, but however, we are going to create a relationship to empower the victim, to rise them up beyond those bullies. We will not have, I'm tired, sick and tired, exhausted of these bullies taking over. We're going to take them down.
Thank you, YJ. Emily, you have 30 seconds. You may now begin.
I'd like to say that I would want to improve the overall atmosphere of Hedgesville to include everything in this list, including faster lunch lines, personal punishment for bathrooms, so that would hopefully avoid shutdowns, the teachers getting involved with their homework situations with the extracurricular activities, controlling hallway chaos, and OVEUS, making sure each teacher is there with a plan and making sure each teacher is showing ENN because a lot of students miss important information on that.
Thank you, Emily. Mallory, move on to you. You may begin.
Well, we talked a lot about how the unmotivated students is a problem, but it's not the students that's the problem, it's the environment they're here every day living with, and I really want to try and fix that, and I will fix that whether I'm elected or not. And I have really big projects that are kind of secret, so I can't really talk about it, but I'm going to really push and work hard and make these projects my passion, and I'm going to also continue bringing in a bunch of stuff for the pep rallies that help with this atmosphere.
Thank you, Mallory. Helena, you may begin.
I think one of the biggest problems we have is that the student government, I've said this a little bit before, the student government is kind of running things and they don't really ask for a whole lot of student opinion. I definitely want to get like a lot more opinion from everybody, and I want to do like different polls and different ideas, because sometimes like student government and like leadership, we try to make decisions, but it's kind of hard when we don't know what everybody wants. So I just want to get a lot of feedback and a lot of opinions and different ideas, give a platform so that everybody kind of can get what they want out, and like different stuff like that.
Thank you. After everyone's had a chance to answer, we will move on to the final question. As president or vice president of your class, you will be heading events, leading the student body and school spirit events, and most importantly, be an advocate for your class. More so as a senior president or vice president, your class will be graduating and on to a new chapter in their lives. What qualifies you for this great responsibility? Emily, we'll start with you. You have 30 seconds and you can begin.
I think some of my qualifications would include that I was vice president this year, and that included assisting Mallory with homecoming and prom and pep rallies. I also think that I am very involved with a lot of the student body because of extracurricular activities and different classes, and I'd like to think that I am someone who tries to get everyone's opinion in important matters, and I would like to continue that throughout our senior year.
Thank you. Mallory, you may go next. You have 30 seconds.
As class president for the last 2 years, I've had the honor to be participating in a lot of things to do, which it goes a lot unnoticed. So you might think that I don't do much, but with prom and the homecoming hallways and pep rallies and fundraisers, and every year I do a teacher appreciation, and we bake cookies for the teachers and have waters and stuff in their lunchroom. So I will continue to do these things, and I think that kind of qualifies me as president.
Thank you. Helena, you may begin.
I've done a lot of stuff with the school. I'm in student government. I was treasurer our freshman year. I helped Mallory with all kinds of different projects and stuff, a lot of prom setup and different things like that. I'd like to say I'm like in touch with a lot of different people in the school, a lot of different crowds, and I think I can help to kind of get everyone's ideas into what the decisions we're making, and give everyone a chance to give their opinions and stuff like that.
Thank you. Brady, you may go next, and you can start.
Well, I am ambitious. Anything I do, schoolwork, outside work, it always comes through, and I've had good grades because of that. Both I and YJ are going to Boise State, which teaches us about leadership and responsibility, which will help us to make good decisions as elected officials should we win the election.
Thank you. YJ, you may begin.
I've held political positions, numerous of leadership, but it all does not matter. I am passionate for you, the common people, the students everywhere. I'm passionate for all of you. And if you elect me as president, I will fight for you, push for you, be by you as your president. But I will always be with you, no matter what, president or not. I'll be on your side. Stick with me.
Thank you, YJ. Thank you, everyone, for coming here today. You gave marvelous answers, you were honest, and you spoke about yourselves and your campaign and what you want to do for the school as president, vice president, or just as a student. And that's what this is all about. This is about trying to be better for your school, trying to fix the problems by acknowledging the problems. So thank you all for coming here today, and thank you for watching. This is the last debate, and we hope to see you all cast your vote and cast it wisely.